Hey everybody, Marc Sadowski here with Tiny Shutter. I am here to talk about a brand new device that was suggested to me by my colleague and friend Greg McMillan. You may have heard him on the Tiny Shutter audio podcast that you can find on iTunes, Stitcher, or any other place that podcasts are found. He suggested that I take a look at the telephoto lens made by Moment. I thought I was pretty much done with external lenses for the iPhone. It's something that I used pretty heavily back when iPhones had single lenses, but ever since they came out with the dual lens, I just haven't found a use for them. They worked decently in the past when it was just a single lens, but you know, when Moment came out with their version 1 lens, you know, it was good. It was a solid lens that was well built, well constructed, and I happened to get some great shots with it. Let me just show you an overlay of my favorite photo that I took using the lens. It was a panoramic of Crawford Notch in the fall. Great photo, I think. But you know, there was always the fussing with the mounting. For example, while the Moment lens was good back in the day for version 1, you had to use a plate to stick to your phone that was really hard to get off. It was like a 3M sticker. And what I ended up doing was fashioning, I should have had this handy, I fashioned an old iPhone case and just attached the 3M sticker to it. I glued it, made sure it was lined up properly, and that was my Moment lens mount. But then iPhones changed, and it no longer really fit what I needed. And you know, then the dual lens came out, and you know, I was happy. But he insisted, and I went and bought it off of B&H. And I gotta say, it's pretty good. So, full disclosure, just to, if you want to cut things short, do I recommend buying the lens? Yes, I think it's worth it. Let's go into the pros and cons first. The first pro is it's a solid build. It's good. It's well constructed. It has a nice heft to it, and you know, they really did their due diligence in making a good quality lens. In fact, I would have to say that it is the second best built lens for an iPhone. The first has to go to the Aki lens that I had thrown over my shoulder many times in the previous video. What you saw was just one take, but in actuality, it was 8 takes of me throwing this thing over my shoulder and this landing on frozen ground. And it works like a charm still. No cracks, very well built. So this goes to number 1 for well built. Sorry, Moment. You're going to have to take silver medal for that one. And again, it's better designed for the newer iPhones. It's a wider opening at the base. It's made to fit the brand new larger sensors, larger lenses on smartphones today. And that is an absolute must if you want good visual clarity coming from your telephoto lens. And the last pro is that the image quality is so much better than the previous versions. The Moment lens, first generation, for the telephoto, there would be blurriness around the edges, and that's not the case anymore. And I'll put a little asterisk on that part there, because I do want to get back to that. Cons, it's expensive. You're getting what you pay for, but the lens itself is $119. I managed to get it while it was on sale on B&H for $99, but regular retail price is $119. And on top of that, you have to get the iPhone case, which is another, I think, $20-$30, depending on which iPhone case you get. All the stuff that I bought is linked in the notes below. So that's a must-have, because no more plating to the iPhone, which is a plus, so can't complain. But you need this to mount somehow, and it's the iPhone case that is going to allow you to do that. The other con is pertaining to the iPhone case. It's a great case, well built, and your grip on the phone is awesome. No complaints there. I would recommend you not using it as a permanent case. And this is me personally. The reason why is that it gets pretty dusty in my pocket. I had this for a couple days, and I don't know if this is just a me thing or if anybody else is experiencing this. The case, the opening for the iPhone, because it's a mount and it requires the lens to screw in, dust accumulates pretty easily there, and it's something that I have to take out of my pocket and remove the case, clean it off probably every other day. Again, I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I've just gone to not using it as a regular iPhone case. Another con, and again, I can't prove this right now, but it's questionable longevity. Longevity, is that a word? This is made really well, but is it going to work for the next iPhone or any other smart device? Smartphones aren't exactly planning ahead for these devices, these accessories. So while it's great right now, is it going to last you to the next generation? More than likely, it's going to require you to buy a brand new case for your new iPhone, which is a small price to pay if the lens still works well with the next generation. So that's something to consider. And then finally, when I went out into the wild, I've been testing this for a few weeks now, and I approached this differently in the beginning. I wanted to make this video as kind of like a chasing landscapes that I've done previously. Go out into the wild, and I'm just using it in the wild. And I'm, showing some footage from the travels right about now. And it was fun. I had a great time using the lens. I did notice some issues with it. In this particular example, I noticed that there was chromatic aberration in the snow. It just looked weird. And when I zoomed in closer on my iPad Pro, I could see it pretty heavily there. And I wondered if this was a mistake that I made, or is this a mistake of the lens? So I actually went out today earlier and just went out and just randomly photographed some trees. I just went down the street. I didn't make a big production out of it this time because I've been wasting too much time already. And I noticed that when I just went out and photographed, everything was fine. The clarity was great. I tried it on the wide angle iPhone lens, the telephoto lens. I compared it to the wide angle with the lens, compare it to the telephoto without the lens, and the images looked great. I didn't know what happened during this one particular trip. I honestly don't know. And again, it's a very minor thing. It's not an all-the-time thing. And again, I think it might have had something to do with the lighting coming towards me. I know the light was in front of me. The sunlight was shining down in front of me, coming directly into the lens. Other than that, the lens operated really well. So for a moment there, I thought, is the lens worth it? Is it not worth it? What I'm going to say right now is, if you need a telephoto lens for your iPhone, if that's something that you absolutely must have, then I would recommend getting the Moment lens. I feel that it's the best built, the best quality, and I've tried a lot. I've played with the, let's just say other brands, telephoto lenses, and I have to say I'm happiest with the Moment lens. And I really didn't think it was going to work out. I really thought I was going to be packing this back up and shipping it back to B&H. Disappointed, but I'm going to keep it. And I am really looking forward to doing some panoramics in the White Mountains. I know I'm very, very happy with the panoramic I took many years ago. And so I tested it out again. Again, the photo that I'm displaying is nothing great. It's not the best exposure, but it's a solid exposure. It's the detail is there, the quality is there, and I'm sold. So that's my recommendation. Tiny Shutter approves of the Moment lens telephoto version. Now the wide angle, that's a whole other story. I'm not big on wide angle photography, and again, back to the con, these lenses are expensive. So you've already paid X amount of dollars for your smartphone device. And by the way, I'm using the iPhone XS as my iPhone, and you've invested a lot in your device, and then on top of that, you have another expensive lens, maybe another lens. So, if there was only a way that, could get that lens over to us, wink. But that, I'm kidding. But all in all, I got to say, I'm very happy with the telephoto lens by Moment. So, if you're looking for a telephoto lens, I think that's the one to get. Enjoy the other photos that I took today. Again, they're not going to be the best exposures I took, but I think they're good examples of what the Moment lens can do. So, thank you very much. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and subscribe, like, all that jazz. Check out our audio podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or any other place you could find podcasts. It's hosted by my good friend Joseph Ferreira. Greg McMillan is on, and a whole slew of other cast members that are just as passionate as I am about iPhone photography. And we have a Patreon, so if you want to contribute, all the information is down below. Search, our social media stuff is all down there, and you guys know the rest. So that's all for now. I hope to be back out in the wild, using all my new toys to do some proper photography with the iPhone. And I'll see you next time.